Hi, everybody. It's Chris F. Walker here with the Christian Influencer Convention, and I am so blessed today to get to meet with one of the most well-known couples in the country. I've got Hannah and Regal with me, and these two,
Hey.
if you have ever seen cuteness on a level that is just almost like it's not even cute anymore. It's like, come on, there's reality in there somewhere, right? But the reality of their reality is why we're here today. So we're going to get to hear your guys' story. So Hannah and Regal, I know that at the convention, you guys are going to be one of our panelists, and there's going to be a lot of good questions that we ask, but obviously, just for how much time we have, we don't really get a chance to dive into the depths of your story, and that's what we wanted to hear from you today as we lead up to the event. So I'd like to kick us off, if you guys don't mind. I just kind of want to hear the story of how'd you get to become Hannah and Regal. I mean, because everybody always dreams of being an influencer or a YouTuber. It's like everybody's top pick of what they want to do in life today. But obviously not everybody gets to. In your guys' case, though, you ended up there. So people want to know, how did you end up in that role, in that arena?
Well, Chris, just first, thank you so much for taking the time to sit with us and learn a little bit more about what we're doing. And we're just so excited to be with you guys at CIC. And how we got started in it. Would you like to start, or would you like me to?
I can start. So basically, when we got together, I discovered that he is an amazing musician and artist, and he's super talented. And when we had met, he just shares me his dreams of what he wanted that to become, and he's been working at it for a long time. And I was like, I want to help him. So he was about to release a song shortly after we met, or we had talked about it and he decided to. And I was trying to figure out all these ways you can like market music and stuff. And I feel like we got some traction on what we had researched and stuff. But then it was when all the COVID stuff happened and TikTok really started taking off. And my brother had started sending me TikToks, and I had heard of it, but I wasn't on it or anything. And I was like, oh, wow, these are funny and stuff. So then I downloaded it and I started going on it a lot. And then people had told him that he should really like market his music on there because artists were finding success, I think, at that point, weren't they?
Yep.
Yeah, that their music was doing super well on there and getting traction. And so I was like, okay, if I can help like us build like a platform big enough to like market your music, do you want to do that? And he was like, yeah, sure. So that's when we kind of started just posting. And this was about May of 2020. We had just gotten engaged.
Yep.
I think the first video I ever posted was the day that you proposed to me. On my birthday. He proposed to me on my birthday.
I did kind of like a vlog, like surprise thing. Just kind of, she thought it was a whole birthday thing, and at the end I proposed to her, and so that was kind of like the start of our YouTube journey.
Yeah, I had made a little compilation, and I was like, this was really fun because I had never really done like video editing too much before this, and so I kind of was like, wow, I really like this.
She's super gifted at editing photos and just whatever, and she's currently is doing all of our editing on everything. So that's where it all started. Yes. Yeah,
we are thinking about outsource. I mean, well, we're experimenting outsourcing that right now, but up until this point, we've been doing all of our own editing.
Really so
good. I mean, you've done very well then. Okay.
Thank you. It's been definitely a learning curve. It's been a lot of trial and error, but yeah.
So I actually took classes and stuff, and so I'm really good at kind of
visualizing,
producing. Yeah. You know, she's been able to take any idea that's in my head and convert it to, and she also has her own ideas as well, but I just kind of co-produce with her because she also has a vision as well. So we work really good together, but that's, I think how it started is she just like she said was posting.
Yeah. So I started, he is really funny and he just does crazy things. And so I was like, okay, do you ever like post some of like the videos of you just being crazy? And he was like, sure, because he's not shy at all. And like he does stuff in the store all the time where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is funny.
One of my favorite videos is my wife loves ducks, and the video with your duck pants in Walmart. I was laughing so hard just at those pants and how you just owned them and walked her and strutted. But my favorite was the rebuttals of like, sorry ladies, I'm taking, it's like, I think that one was where I fell in love with you guys. And when I saw that, I was like, all right, fine. They're cute enough. I'll have to.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that was a gift. She bought those pants for me, and then she kind of regretted it, I think, because I was just like,
he would not stop wearing them.
Yeah, she didn't. I don't think she anticipated that I would like be wearing them out, And I'm like, yeah, of course.
Like I've gotten him stuff with my face on it too as a joke, and he will wear them.
Yeah.
Like I got him a pair of Slim Chunks with my face on it just as a joke, and he literally wore them. Wasn't it our whole honey? No, when was that? When we went to the lake.
Yeah.
Family's lake.
Yeah.
Anyways, I digress. But anyways, he's not shy. Anyways.
I like the clothes she gets me.
Yeah. So anyways, I started posting some videos and it didn't really take off right away. So I was like, okay, I didn't really understand it completely. But then on our honeymoon, we were on a road trip and we were in San Antonio and he was in the bathtub and he was in there for a while and I didn't know what was going on. And he's like, Honey, come in here. And I was like, what? And he had made this massive bubble bath, like the biggest bubble bath I've ever seen.
It was like
bubbles everywhere.
This jacuzzi tub, like I mixed like shampoo and an egg yolk. I guess it's like an old way they used to do it, like the egg white, not egg yolk, sorry, the egg whites.
Okay.
They used to use soap and egg white and like honey in the old days to make that froth or whatever.
Okay.
But I guess I used a lot of soap and that egg white and this thing, it was the jacuzzi, it was like a one button press, in the hotel. And it was like instant rise when you would press it. It was like, it was like going up, like, it was probably like 4 feet. It was very high.
It was insane. I was just like, what? So I was recording it and he was like, you should post that on TikTok. And I was like, you think so? And he's like, yeah. I was like, okay, fine. So I just made like a little edit of what I had recorded and I posted it and right away it just got like 100 views or something. I was like, see, like nothing happened because I didn't really understand how it all works at that point. And then a few days later, we were getting close to being done with our honeymoon and we were staying with one of his friends and all of a sudden I like looked at my phone and we were just getting like a ton of notifications. I was like, what the heck? And then I looked and the video was at like 20,000. I was like, what? I'm like, the video's going up. And we were getting really excited.
Yeah. And we were just like, oh my gosh. And it just started, it just kept growing and growing. And pretty soon it hit 1 million. And then we were like, oh, wow. And
and we had gained like, I think like 6,000 followers or something. And I was like, maybe we could do like couple stuff. Because at that point I started seeing a lot of like couple pages and that kind of stuff.
And I had no idea that this was even a thing.
Like, I didn't really know that either.
I had no idea. Yeah, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Even probably like not even like maybe even 6 months after we're married going, I mean, like I didn't even know how big of a thing like couples content could be. Like, I had no idea.
Big accounts on like YouTube and all that kind of stuff. But like I guess the short form couple content was just kind of like, I don't know if it was a new concept in general, or if it was just new to us. I'm not really sure. But I was like, well, let's just try it out. And so it was a learning curve with boundaries and things because I was doing a lot of pranks to him and like we were both working full time and he was just like, oh my gosh.
I would come home from working. I did like interior design, painting, with my mom. And so I'd be coming home with like, you have to like sand walls and there's like dust all up in my nose from sanding like walls all day and like paint all over me. And she's like wanting to do pranks on me and stuff like that. And I'm just like, hey, we gotta, and like, I'm tired.
Yeah. So we had to develop, boundaries of like, hey, you can't just prank me all the time when I'm home. So we developed boundaries and stuff, but then that was like in August, September when we kind of discovered like, oh, like we can probably maybe figure this out. And then it took until like that spring, the following spring, until we kind of started more kind of figuring out what worked for us and like what our audience liked and stuff. And it kind of just took off like that spring, summer. And we were at 1 million by that next September. So we got about 1 million, I think, in a year-ish, a little over a year of us posting and stuff. So then it kind of just trickled over to the other platforms. I started kind of just reposting the content we had made on Instagram. And then that December, I think all the dates are mixing up, but
2021.
Yeah, I think December of like 2021, his dad was on, he likes YouTube. He likes watching, nature stuff and whatnot. And he was like, I've been seeing a lot of like videos like what you guys do on YouTube Shorts and stuff. And I was like, oh, really? And he's like, yeah, you guys start posting on there. And I was like, okay. So I started reposting a bunch of our stuff, and
nothing happened for a long time.
Nothing happened for a really long time.
And just about like this last year.
Yeah, this last summer in about June, kind of the same thing. All of a sudden, my YouTube notifications, I was kind of just like sporadically reposting our stuff on there. And then when we were out of town and he was working and I was really pregnant and I just went with him and I was just laying on the couch and it was hot in summer. I was like,
she wasn't pregnant. She was really pregnant.
I was really pregnant. I was very close to having her son. I was like, I'm going to just post a bunch of our YouTube videos that are like TikToks and stuff on Shorts. And so I posted like a ton of them. And like a week later, all of a sudden, kind of the same thing. Boom, notifications went off and like it just grew super fast on YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube grew very quickly.
Yeah.
So, and through that, everything kind of just stemmed from, we started, so to answer the question, full circle, it started on, as soon as we got, like a little bit before we got married, just kind of the experimentation, but we got our first viral video, which we weren't really necessarily, I don't know, we didn't really have any like goals or intentions with it, other than her goal of like, hey, I want to advertise his music. And so I'm going to just display his like his personality. At first it was just that. And then it actually turned into like, oh, we're going to do stuff together. Cause at first she was just kind of filming me doing dumb things. And then, and through all this, she's actually taken a huge, she's taken a huge role in what we do. And other than just, filming me do dumb stuff. So she's,
I discovered I really like editing videos and that kind of stuff, like YouTube and stuff. Okay.
So all that grew and, I think, and then we fully transitioned into being influencers this past after our son was born.
Yeah, it was kind of our goal. Like, well, we were kind of talking about it leading up because I've always wanted to be able to stay home like with our children we were going to have someday, and I didn't really know what that looked like or how that would work for us. But as our stuff started growing, I was like, I think we could maybe because I was working I'm still a nurse, but I'm not currently working as a nurse, and then he was doing the interior design and stuff. And as we were getting closer to having our son, I was like, I think once YouTube started taking off, we were like, I think we can maybe do this full time. So we just kind of took the plunge when he was born. I was on maternity leave. I didn't fully commit to it because I was a little nervous because, I was a little like,
but shout out to our management team, current management. They've been, Nilo and Cameron have just been so great. And that also helped us to make the leap of in the transition into, doing being a full-time influencer, because it was a lot to handle with all the emails and the communications of like different business things and whatnot.
Plus working full-time, both our regular jobs and being pregnant and editing. It was just like getting to be a lot, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is just, now we're gonna have a baby soon. And so we started working with them in July of last summer, and it's been amazing. We are
so that really helped us have the confidence to also step forward and be like, okay, we're gonna just do this as a this is our career now. So that's in a roundabout way, this is how we this is how we got started.
So now we've been doing it for almost.
Have you seen that meme? This is a rabbit trail, but have you seen that "How We Do It" meme? Have you seen that?
Which one? I'm sorry.
It's like this is how we do it, and there's like a guy, and his name is How We Do It. Have you seen that?
No, I actually haven't seen that, but it is quite creative.
And then the audio's play. It's like a Facebook profile with the guy's name, How We Do It, and it's like, this is how we do it.
That's funny.
This is how we do it.
I remember,
this is how we do it.
When I was younger, it's funny that I ended up becoming an author because I always had a creative mind, but I hated writing. So the fact the fact that I write books is actually, even my own mom is like, you became an author? Like, yeah, who knew, right? But
do you enjoy that now? Do you enjoy writing? writing?
I do enjoy it, but for me, the funny thing was, I remember somewhere in like middle school, we had a class, and they said you need to come up with like a character and develop it and everything. And my mom was really heavy into Sherlock Holmes at the time. And so your How We Do It I had a character like that I developed a long time ago. I called him Sheer Luck Jones, and every time every time he would solve this case, it was just because of blind luck. He just kind of stumbled onto something.
Sheer luck.
Yeah, and when I got into high school and started becoming a little less, I didn't grow up very Christian, so I was pretty worldly. Yeah. So by the time I got into high school, I created his sidekick, who was Dr. Gotsum, and he was, instead of Dr. Watson, and Dr. Gotsum was kind of a hound. He only had one thing on his mind everywhere he went. So it was fun to kind of, but that's just funny to see this plays off. Okay, we can't do rabbit holes though, because I'll go down with you. Okay, so let's.
No, that's good. Yeah, we're back.
Let's reel it back though. Okay, so now we did. So you guys got your start, and you were focusing on being a nurse, and you were doing interior design and painting. And by the way, those the nose full of stuff, I actually know exactly what that is, because I've had a few times of doing drywall and sanding, and by the time you walk out of there, you're doing like those farmer blows, and the things that are coming out are horrible.
Yeah, it's awful.
But
it's awful.
Yeah, so but you guys obviously are doing. Your main platform now is around content, and what I really like the most from what I've seen about you guys' content is that you don't shy away from your faith, which is kind of what we're focused on with this event, but you don't put it in people's faces either. Not you put the lifestyle on display, not the principles, and I love that you guys do that, because what it means is you're not saying believe this or else kind of thing. And that's what people kind of think about when they think of a lot of Christianity, is they tend to think that we're very hard stricken, we're very rules driven, you got to cross all the T's and dot all the I. But when it comes to life application, a lot of times people just kind of miss that stage altogether. And that's kind of where you guys live. You live right in the world of, this is what it looks like to have those ideals, have those concepts, and then live it out, especially together. I love that premise. So since that's kind of where your platform is, what I want to do, if we can, I want to go back a little bit further. Your worldview is something that you guys live out so well that I want to know how it started. Were you guys raised in the church? Did you come to faith later in life? When did your personal relationship actually with Christ become something that you could attest to and say, it's not just some thing I heard about, but I actually feel like I know this person and I have trust towards him? I mean, I'd love to kind of hear the whole part there.
Yeah.
Well, I'll start. And I think that ours, two different stories, but similar in a way that we kind of were like, we had people of faith in our family, and we kind of grew up around believers in Jesus. My parents were believers in Jesus, and I grew up going to church and stuff, but I never really read my Bible. I never really I would go, and I was a part of the worship team when I was in 7th grade, but I lived a roller coaster lifestyle more, as far as like I would be in the church, and then I'd be hanging out with some good friends and stuff, and then I would go hang out with some bad friends and do some bad things, and then I'd come back to church and be good for a while, but it was just this whole no discipline, no foundation, and I think my journey as a disciple of Jesus started when I was 16. I gave my life as over to not just, I believe in you, Lord, and I pray, because I grew up, and that's probably the only reason why I ended up where in that position, is because even though I wasn't, reading my word and wasn't like actively all the time living a lifestyle of faith, I prayed and I talked to God, and he's gracious and he's merciful, and he, sent people to speak into my life and got me to a place of just, wow, I need to do something about this. And I developed a hunger to just grow, and that I got into a Bible study, and it was Road of Romans. That was and we went through Romans, and I started to, memorize scripture, and I started to, just discipline myself with the word of God and renew my mind that way. And so I would say my journey started when I was 16. that's, I saw a lot of growth. And I think the first things that God told me were, you need to stop, you need to get rid of your friends, you need to, which before this, I think I think they call it FOMO, fear of missing out,
Okay.
And I used to always want to be in the crowd, in the group, and just, I ended up winning. So this is the thing. I let go of all that, and I just stopped hanging out with everybody. And this, not a brag or anything, I won homecoming king, but I didn't hang out with anybody at school. I would read my Bible alone in the hallway and stuff. I just stopped caring about what people thought. And I just started being, not cliquey. I started just living for Christ, caring about that, and just being nice to and just trying to spread Christ, praying for people in my school, and just not caring what people thought about that, and not caring about popularity and all that stuff. I honestly didn't. And I think that was just God, showing me that, I don't know, I don't know, I didn't aspire for that in high school or anything. It just kind of happened. But it just kind of showed how I was so focused on hanging out with this group of people, but God, but God was
God, that's a big one. Yeah.
We need to let go of that. And, and through that, I developed a lot of, respect and reputation, and also showed who Christ was in my school, and got people to come to youth group. And because I wasn't focused on hanging out with a specific group of people, or even reaching out or ministering to a specific group of people, God started showing me the harvest. He started showing me people that were ready to receive Christ, that I wasn't just, because we want this person, and some people aren't ready for it, and God would show me, hey, this person, you talk to him, and hey, come with me, just like Jesus did. Hey, follow me. And they come, and then they come to youth group, and then they would invite people that I would have never been able to invite, but just because I invited that one person, that it would unlock a whole group of people to just come and receive Jesus. And our youth group grew to it was before I left I moved to Dallas, our youth group was thriving, and it had grown, and there was a lot of people that were experiencing Christ's love. So that's where my journey started, was when I started reading the Word when I was about 16. I had grown up in it, but I didn't really apply it until I started discipleship.
I went to ministry. I actually, if you don't mind, Hannah, before we jump into yours, I want to kind of dive into some of the things that Regal just hit on. And there's a couple things that I noticed that these can become hang-ups for some people. One of them was when you mentioned that you had to choose carefully now which kind of friends you were hanging out with. And a lot of times that's actually one of the arguments that people will use from the outside against Christianity, is that we'll say, well, we choose not to affiliate in certain cases with certain people. And then they'll say, but that's not very inclusive, and that's not what, isn't your book the thing that says everybody's. So what I do like was how you mentioned that it's not that you were saying, I don't affiliate with you ever. It was that I can't continue to do with you the things that we were doing. And as you started then leaning into your faith, leaning into your Bible time, leaning into your studies, that started giving you a different foundation to work from. And then now as you come back into the fold with the different people, you're doing it from a different standpoint. Now when you're talking with them, they're not outcasted. That's definitely not the case of what we do. But you are saying that there's a right and a wrong way to do things, and I now choose right. And I would love for you to be encouraged by the same things that have changed my views. And so I love that you kind of walked through that process, because sometimes we have to be removed from where we were so that we can learn what we need. But it is not at all uncommon. In fact, it's usually more the norm that whatever we got removed from by God, once we learn more about him and he gives us the tools, he'll send us right back into where we just came from to minister to a lot of the people that we originally had been, I guess, on the same, what's it called, equally yoked. We had been yoked with them and their views, but now we're a little different. But because we understand them, we're the great person to kind of to talk to them and to try and share. So I love that you lived that out, and that's a godly principle. So awesome. I just wanted to at least, give you an attaboy there, is everyone can say that.
Thank God for, me being able to, having the actually listening and being obedient, because he spoke, and there's been times that I had not, and it took me years, to come back around and whatever, but that he spoke clearly, and he was just like, the only time I had ever opened up the Bible probably before that, it was like, I remember one time there was like a girl that I was praying about if I should. I was like, God, do you think I could date this girl? And then like I opened up the Bible and just like, God, give me an answer. And I pointed, and it was actually Proverbs, like, I think it was Proverbs 5 or 6, the adulterous woman. When it talks.
Oh my God!
It's literally, the line said, "Stay away from her," and I shut the Bible and I ignored it, and I ended up getting my heart broken. And then after when I heard you have to get rid of your friends, let that go. I just knew that I'd not listened before, and that when I'd asked, and he had. So and like you said, it wasn't like, some of these people that I'm talking about, I'm actually still good friends with, and love them. And some of them still aren't believers, but I'm actually was in a space where I could grow, and God could do what he needed to do in my life. And then I can now come back and be a minister of Jesus to them, and not be just, a wanderer, so.
And I think it's just a matter of if we're focused on him or if we're focused on them.
Yep.
And if we're focused on them and getting our value from what they tell us, we get sucked into the rabbit hole. Whereas if we're focused on him, now we become the influencer who can speak truth into people's lives. That's beautiful. Yes. Okay, so Hannah, I know I kind of cut you off just because I wanted to jump into that rabbit hole with him, but I'd love to hear so how did you grow up, and how did you come to faith?
So similar, my parents are both believers, my family believers. So I grew up in a Christian home. We did go to church, but kind of similar to him. Like, I knew about it. I would pray sometimes, but like I wasn't really serious about it. And like my knowledge of who God was from like what my parents told me, or like what I heard at church, when we would go and stuff. And so it wasn't at the level where I felt like I actually had a relationship with him. It more kind of felt like, I guess, religion at that point. Mm-hmm. And so as I was getting done with high school, my senior year, I was during like my last years of high school, my brain, I wasn't allowed to date till I was 16. And so once I was 16, my mind was all just like boys. And so like, that's what was in my mind. And, I never got too crazy
or anything. Bull, ready and...
And so that was my main concern is, like, I like him. I hope he likes me, and trying to, impress them or, whatever. And that was kind of became like, I guess, like an idol in my life, was just, pining after the boys that I liked. And so when I was, about to graduate, I was in a relationship with this boy, and my dad was not super happy about it because he just knew that he's a good dad. Well,
that you didn't.
Yeah. And, this person was nice and everything, but our beliefs were not aligned. And my dad knew that. And I was getting older, like I was 18 at this point, and he's just like, and I was mad at him because I really liked this person, but he wasn't like pushing me like, you can't date this person, because I was an adult at that point, but he was just really strongly encouraging me that, I really think that God has a different plan for you. And he would have like, I'd get so mad at him because I'd like come out in the morning from my room, and he would have like the Bible open, just different verses and stuff about just like being like unequally, just all these things.
Get this truth out of my face.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
And I was just like, getting so mad at him because I'm like, just leave me alone. Like I like this boy, and just, and I started like, I never really been like a rule breaker, but I started like staying out past. I mean, like I was an adult, but I was still like in high school kind of. So it was kind of like a weird line, but like I was staying out past when like, they're like, hey, we want you home at this time. I was like not listening to that. And I was kind of just becoming really disobedient, and probably the most, I guess, rebellious I was in my life. And I got to a point where I was just like, kind of similar to what he was saying, where he was like, God, I like this girl, like, and he prayed about it. And I just got down on my knees on my bed, and I had this little sign that I painted in my room that said, dance with God and he'll let the right guy cut it. And I was like, God, and Dad doesn't want me to be in this relationship, but I really do care for this person. I just don't know what to do. And I just need your guidance. And I was like in my room, the windows are closed. There was no wind or anything, but literally the poster had fallen down that had said, dance with God and he'll let the right guy cut in. And that was up there for a long time, like years I had it up there for. And I was just like, okay. And I was like, oh, dang it. Yeah. And I was like, oh gosh. Yeah. And I guess that's the first time I ever really had like a prayer, like answered like that. And it kind of just like woke me up like, wow, like, God is like, he cares about me. And like, I knew that he did, but it just really kind of opened my eyes to like, this is more than what I like. My relationship with God is not where it should be right now. And so I broke up with that person, and it was really sad because like I said, I really did care for that person, but I was like, you know what? I need to figure out myself, like who God is, and just, you know, I need to have a relationship on my own with him. So I was like, I'm going to read the Bible every single day. Starting now, and I'm going to read through the whole thing, and I'm just going to learn who God is. And so I did that. Every single day I was reading my Bible, and I read through it. I don't remember how long it took me. It was within that year. And I read through it.
She's a quick reader.
I am a quick reader. But I mean, like, but the thing is like you have to absorb it, understand, and study. But anyway, so I was in college, and I was just really in that season is when I really just fell in love with God, and I really just grew my relationship with him, and just discovered who he was and just how he loved me. And it just really transformed my life. And during that time, I actually, because like I had been so focused on boys, and I was like, God, because it was such a big thing in my mind, I was like, I'm going to give this part of my life to you, because I feel like I was just holding on to that part so much. And I was like, I am going to, you know who my husband is someday, and I'm going to give that to you. And so I would started every day writing in journals a prayer for my husband of things that like just when I was reading scripture about different qualities of just like who we should be. And I would just pray those things over my future husband. And I wrote, and then actually up until the day that I married Justin, that's the gift I gave to him. I gave him like these 5 huge journals of different prayers I had written for him until I met him. And so it really, I just kind of I've always, you know, believed in God, but I just, during that summer after my senior year, and I guess just since then, I've been really just changed to my thinking and of what it means to have a relationship with God. And so, yeah, I guess that's kind of.
That's beautiful. So there's one element that I noticed on both your guys' testimonies that is, from what I have just experienced and witnessed, is true for absolutely everybody. And that's that your faith can be understood outside of the Bible. You can have people teach it to you and you can understand it, but your faith cannot be personal and lived out if you're not reading the Bible yourself. You have to do it. That's how God talks to us, is through his word. And so if you're ignoring your God time of reading the Bible, you're probably falling short of truly understanding who he is and how he's going to relate with you.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's such a big key to, you know, because you know, like those, it makes it so much simpler, you know, because our minds are, you know, was that God? Is this, you know, because you can hear, you know, you can hear God without obviously the Bible, but, you know,
but you also hear other things.
If it's right there, you know, he's given us a roadmap, you know,
I once heard someone say there's no book on life. And I thought it was hilarious when they said that, because by the time I had heard that quote, I was now heavy into my faith. And I looked at them and I said, there is literally a book on life. Like, there is. Get any more. There is a roadmap. There is a tech manual. It's designed. It tells you how this works. Like it's
mean, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And it's doing your faith and discipline and discipleship a big disservice to not take advantage of the word of God, for sure, because there is, like you said, there is the quiet times and God can speak and stuff, but it's
understanding who he is.
But understanding who he is, he's laid it out clear as day, you know, who is the person of Jesus, you know, and you can just clearly see God's love through the scripture, and just it really helped not only Hannah but me just get discipled, get wisdom. I'm not wise, but it's helped me make choices that have directed my path to where God wants me, and it's been the journey of us getting to where we're at here with being an influencer, and at this place talking to you right now. It's we give this all to God. We've given pretty much most of the time. I would not say every time, but I mean pretty much most of the time we pray before we post things or and we give it to God. We just wanted to reach the right people. Our goal is to ultimately to reflect God's love and have people know who Jesus is. And I appreciate you saying, we don't shove it down your throat or whatever. I think we are called to represent Christ, and we are called to preach the gospel and stuff. But I just think in the space that we've been given, we just wanted to, reflect God's love and joy to people, and in that process hopefully people could be directed towards his goodness and see who he is, because we're flawed and we're not perfect, but he is. And so
that's beautiful. I remember in one of the elements that I was very shocked about when I started kind of doing my own studies was that the Bible does tell us to, go to all the world, go to all the ends of the earth and make disciples and baptize them in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. But and it also says that he'll go with us in the process. That was a big deal for me, was to say, this isn't on me. It's not my job to do this. I'm just I'm just here who's just supposed to live life, and then he does the work. And I'm just supposed to make sure that I live life the way he has said this is how life is supposed to work. And what I always thought was a great combination was where he said that you should be the lamp on the hill. People should see your light shining. And the other one was in 1 Peter, where he says that you should always be prepared to give an answer for your faith. So I always thought that the real element that we're called to do is to live the life he asks and be willing to answer the questions when they're asked. But it's not my job to go out and force someone into my way of thinking. That is not how it's supposed to. That's not the gospel message. The gospel message is to know who Christ is, live him out very well, show that. And when other people are seeing it, they'll be drawn to it. And when they're trying to figure out what it is about you, you can say, it's not about me. It's about who is in me. And that's the allure. That's the whole point. I started coining the phrase sniper evangelism, which is, instead of, turn to Jesus and be, rectified. Instead, it's just like, you know what? Here's a good way to live life. When people say, how do you do that? It's because I follow Christ.
Yeah.
So I love that. And I think that from what I've seen, that's what I love about your guys' platforms is you just live wholesome, godly principles and you don't shy from it. But again, you're not trying to, dictate or bark orders at anybody. You're just trying to show that there's a good that's out there and there's a truth that's out there. And if you use it, it works. So I love that. That's kind of your focus. So, your guys' testimony is really powerful. And what I love the most is you guys are both very gifted storytellers. You can,
is definitely way better,
fun to get to dive in there with you. But so let me ask then, as you're getting ready to move forward now, and you guys have, your YouTube has blown up just this year alone. I think you guys had over 1 million followers here in just last 6 months. I mean, that's
we actually
hit 2 million.
We just hit 2 million. Yes.
Gosh, you guys have been just blowing up on these other platforms. On a personal level, not necessarily God Kingdom, but I have a desire or a goal. What is it that you guys say, with this, our objective here is going to be that we want to do this. And what's the end game here? How do you know you've achieved success with what you're trying to do?
Would you like me to answer that?
Sure, go for it.
Personally, I mean, like we said in the beginning, I think that a goal of ours still is to get some music from me to be successful. We would love to, that's, I've felt called from a young age to do music, and I've wanted since I've had a dream since I was a child of writing songs and getting a hit song, and so I would love to have, not just for the sake of that, but, I just feel like a calling to do that. And so I've there's been many years of prayer and all that. So I think an end goal of this would be maybe that we could transition into a successful music career for me, because I don't know the shelf life of what we're doing,
we have
but
no idea.
But I know that if we can, I would love to provide for our future generations. And if you get a good song that can impact, generations, it can provide for generations too. I mean, Bing Crosby wrote White Christmas, and I'm sure his great grandchildren are still surviving off of that song. So I would love to be able to provide for my family that way, and also give glory to God in the process, and writing a great song that many people can relate to. And so I think the goal in the next couple years would be to transition and hopefully make that successful.
Yeah.
Also, in the meantime, we're giving that to God, and if he blesses that, great. If he continues to bless what we're doing, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing, and just grow with the community that we're growing with, and just continuing to, try to spread joy and love from, Christ, and just see where that goes.
Yeah, beautiful. I think sums it up. We don't have like a set like number, like we want to get to like X amount, like obviously there's numbers. I'm like, it'd be so cool if we could reach it. We never even thought we'd get to this point.
I think we surpassed any goal that we ever thought of. But I mean, we have short term, like, it'd be nice to hit this,
like we've hit this, it'd be cool if one day we could hit that or something. But like I feel like that's not like our goal. I would say it's not like our main focus. It's just like achieving like numbers and stuff. It is just I think also just maintaining just the message too, that we are trying to kind of like what you talked about, just trying to glorify God through everything that we do, and just showing, in our best of ability. Obviously we're humans and we have flaws, and we're not perfect, but just trying to be an example of what it's like to live for him and stuff. And so I think that would probably, music, that, and then one day I think it'd be cool. I really like writing too. Yes. So I don't know, you said you're a writer, so I think it'd be really cool to write a book someday. I really, really enjoy writing a lot.
She is gonna write, and that is gonna happen. She is gonna write a book, and look out, New York Times bestseller, because it is. I'm serious. She is a great writer. I mean, you should. She is like, I thought I was a good writer because I can write songs, and I'm, I think I'm not, I think I'm pretty decent at writing songs and stuff like that. But man, I see her, like when we were dating, we were texting back and forth. She would send me these like really nice paragraph stuff, just full thought out, concise, like loving, just, oh my gosh. And I'm there typing out my thing, and I'm like, backspace. Like, what the heck am I doing that? Like, she just made me just have to up my game, and like, but she can do it effortlessly. She just kind of, and so I know that she's gonna just, through her story and just like the pureness of her heart that's revealed when she's talking about like the love of God, and just like the intention of just pulling people to Christ and stuff. I just think that she's going to be able to touch a lot of people with a book one day.
So
I think that is also
going to sit here and just flat out pray for you guys that you have, your music career kick off, and that your writing career kicks off, because there's so much creativity between the two of you guys, and it shows, because even so much little spurts here and there. It's just like, how did you why would you? I mean, I've had a couple times where like, what, like the duck pants? I wasn't ready for that. I was like, all right, well, own it. That's beautiful. I love it. So okay, so guys, I do want to honor time, and I know that we're coming up on the bottom of the hour, and I'd hate to keep you because I know you guys are really busy. So as we get ready to roll into the event itself, this is the one element I've been trying to get from everybody in particular about the event that's coming up on the 26th of July. It's called the Christian Influencer Convention. We're going to be there at the South Point in Las Vegas, Nevada. There's going to be live music. There's going to be worship. There's going to be meet and greets. There's going to be the panels where we get to ask live questions interactively. And I mean, there's going to be so much going on. And for the people in the audience, and for those of us who are kind of facilitating it, we have a goal of getting inspired. Like our goal is to try and throw the inspiration out there. But you guys are on a different side of that. You're on the panel. You're the ones who are looking from the outside, looking over everything. So in your mind, what would it be that is we showed up and this happened, and because this happened, we are so grateful that we got to contribute, and we feel like this was exactly what we were supposed to do. Like this, what's the success of the event for you guys from your perspective?
Would you like to?
You can start.
I mean, I think success is just, for us at CIC would be to, I mean, we're super excited to meet some of the people that maybe are, wanting to meet us, and maybe be able to give them a word of encouragement into their life about how God can, how God, loves them. Mm-hmm. I think just sharing the love of God would be a success if people can feel God and, know he's real through, us being a vessel. Mm-hmm. And just, I mean, that would be my prayer, is that lives would be changed through just an encounter with God, not just meeting us, but meeting Jesus, feeling his presence and knowing that, maybe that this, attending CIC was a time that, I can look back and say this was like a pillar moment. This was a rock where I had I put a stone here, and I remember this, and God touched my life, and I know he's real. And so that to me, and I think to us would be a success, because we just, we're very honored that we were considered for this event, and we're super excited for it. And it's going to be a great time, but we don't want to just go there for nothing. We feel called to do it, and we feel called because we think this is an opportunity for Jesus to be made known. And so that would be our
Yeah. And just, if anything that we can say to encourage people, or just help maybe equip them to just be influencers in their own lives too. You don't have to have a huge platform to influence people. You can influence your, sibling or your parent or someone at the grocery store by just, living the way God called you to. And, sometimes it's crazy because my grandparents grew up I knew that they believed in God, but just the lifestyle didn't super reflect it. But my grandpa's brother came and spoke about God to them, and really just showed them the love of God. And just really, honestly, by him doing that, and from my grandparents fully committing and giving their life to Christ, they had between the two of them, there were 7 children, and most of my family is believers, and just the ripple effect that it created. So by just talking to one person, even if you think that you might not be making a difference by just sharing the love of God to one person, you could be affecting generations. And through that, I just would, if we can just equip someone or give them just confidence that you can make a difference, you really can. Because if my grandpa's brother went to talk to him, I don't know if I would even be a believer today. I don't know, because I don't know if that, so he's affected. And we have a huge family. I have so many cousins, and just the people that we've affected. And now that I have this platform that we're able to speak about, by him speaking to him, he's affected millions of people, and he didn't probably even know it. So, but so I guess that would be another piece of success that we would hope to come out of this event.
Also, I think to concise that is just, we would love to give people that maybe don't know the Lord to know the Lord, and people that are already following the Lord to maybe encourage them to be equipped, that God is equipping them, and they're ready to just be an influencer in their sphere, that they are, making a difference. God has a plan and a purpose for their life. And God is he'll use a donkey, so he'll use you. Yeah. So.
That's true. I always thought that one was the most interesting story for me, was when the donkey started talking. My first response wouldn't have been, to counter argue with the donkey. I'd have been like, why is a donkey talking?
I'd be like, I gotta
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm not Shrek, so I don't know why I would expect. Anyway, okay, guys, well, I just want to thank you so much for, you guys joining us. You're such a lovely couple, and you guys have just got so much fun and laughter and joy in your hearts, and I'm so grateful that you guys are going to get part of this, and then you share this so willingly. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys both July 26th, where I'm going to be there too, and we're going to have a good time. And then I know that we're also going to get to see as many people show up. It's Las Vegas, but and I know we're working on trying to get the live streaming done on that, hammer that stuff out too. So I mean, the whole concept is to share this with everybody and anybody who just wants to chime in. So, and you guys are right in the heart of it. So thanks so much for even partaking.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We appreciate the time, and we're so excited to be a part of this, and we're excited to see everybody that's watching on the other end of this, and it's gonna be awesome. So
it's beautiful. Okay, guys. Well, I think that's a great place we'll go ahead and let it go, because I know we got to give you guys back your schedule. But for everybody who's watching, thanks for joining us, and Hannah and Regal, we'll see you guys really soon, and look forward to seeing more of the stuff that you put out as you generate more content also. God bless both of you.
Thanks
God bless all of you who are watching.
Yeah, God bless. Thank you so much.